Okay. Right, I hope you all can hear this. This was not planned whatsoever. How can I put this? So, I basically recorded my usual episode about 2 to 3 days ago, had no issues, and I went to do the editing today. And it was going to be ready for Sunday. Problem is, my phone, I think, is starting to have some serious sound issues. Hence, this might sound awful, but I hope you can hear me right now. These background static of the actual phone is starting to get quite awful, to the point where it's impossible to do a good recording and remove that sound in the background. To the point where I basically had to abandon my last recording, and I'm going to do this on the fly live. So this can go one of two ways: badly or incredibly badly. So hello. I'm not used to seeing comments pop up. That's interesting. So basically what that means is this is basically a makeshift live episode of what was going to be this weekend's episode, and hopefully the sound is relatively good, because the crackling in the background of the recording was utterly awful, and even I got the point where it's like I can't do this. I can't put this out there. It's that bad. Which gives me quite the issue, because this is my only way of really recording. But there is one option I'm going to try. I'm going to start recording in 60 frames per second. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but I've been told that recording in different frames per second can cause background static to go away for a little while. I mean, it could be utter rubbish, but it's worth trying. Anyway, so basically, like PSP games. Oh, that sounds pretty cool, man. You go for all the variants. Good stuff, Mysterious Lucha. So all the comments are going to pop up. This could be a nightmare. So we're just going to ad-lib. So basically what I was going to discuss, and we'll discuss now, is the past, present, and future of the channel. We'll start off with past. For those of you who did watch, like a week and a half ago, the Retro Chef Swap Shop, but it's a full PS3 collection. It's not, but say the catalogue's a lot less than PS2, so that's actually quite possible and cheaper. Good luck. Anyway, basically, Retro Chef Swap Shop, when I was on there, I enjoyed the hell out of it. And consequently, this time, which is the third time I was on Swap Shop, we got a lot of stuff I was going to sell, or have sold. Basically means that I did a lot of parcels last week. And to fellow YouTubers who I will tag in after this recording, so I've got to do all the description afterwards. I'm winging the hell out of this right now. So Hobby Lodge obviously did a video showing off the Amiga games he purchased. Hope they play well, and appreciate that, my friend. Obviously, Retro Chef, who presents the swap shop each month. Very good friend. Your parcel is on the way, sir. Yeah, you can ask a question. We're winging it. Just ask the question. As long as it's nothing horrific. I can see comments. This is such a weird thing. I've never gone live. I haven't gone live for a long time. So, anyway, also want to thank Bahaha. He also bought a parcel. Good friend of the channel. No, I won't collect Japanese PS2. For one main reason, it's incredibly hard to get a full PAL set. Imagine collecting Japanese, where it's like the combined numbers like multiple thousands more. I think all in, if you're going to collect every PS2 game on the planet, it's like between 4,000 and 5,000. I think it's higher than that. No, seriously, there's like multiple thousands more PS2 games out there if you could buy in America and Japan with PAL. It's literally impossible. I'm almost certain there's certain games you can't buy anymore. There's one game from America that's straight up illegal to own. I'm not going to go into that at this point, but yeah, I'm never going to do a full PS2 of the World collection, because unless I'm becoming insanely rich, that's just not feasible. Anyway, so I enjoyed the hell out of Swap Shop. I thank you, Retro Chef. Thank you, Hobby Lodge. Thank you, Bahaha. Oh, I'm missing someone. Yeah, Japanese are very organised. It probably would be easy, but it's just not going to happen anytime soon. Uh, the Guy game. Just Google the Guy game. That's all I'll say. It's an American game, but it was horrific. It's going to sound weird because I'm doing this live comments, so bear with me. So anyway, thank you for everyone who bought parcels from Swap Shop. If you haven't received them now, they should be with you very, very shortly. Everything has been sent out. And I enjoyed the hell out of that. Especially I was drinking red wine again. It seems to become like a tradition doing Swap Shop. So once again, thank you Retro Chef, thank you Hobby Lodge, thank you Bahaha, and thank you everyone else who bought this one. Yes, I think it is. Halucha, I think it is. I'm not going to respond to that question. Anyway, so that's pretty much the past. Also, as you can see, I've actually updated the board now, 1841, so that's going reasonably well now. I will say I am now getting to that point, struggling. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. Birdie love. Oh, good lord. I am actually getting to that point now where finding physical games in person is like near impossible. Okay, no worries. It's just getting to the point. So there's going to be a lot of CX roulettes going on, and eBaying, and venting. With the occasion, obviously still will do a lot of the gamer markets, but CXs in person is going to become very rare. But simply put, I did buy one game the last week. It's nothing special, but good lord, that's a hell of a name. Simply put, in the last week, I did buy one game on eBay. This game is not in stock at CX at all. It's not actually that expensive. I think it's like £6 at CX, but I paid £10. If anyone's ever heard this game, Seven Wonders of the Ancient World. It's a puzzle game. This is the German version because I don't really care to really try hard to find the British version. It's a puzzle game. It's not that hard to understand. Obviously with a manual. The manual is literally 10 pages. And 4 of those pages are note pages. So there isn't that much detail in the manual. But if you try and focus on the back here, it looks like any generic puzzle game you'll find on the internet these days for free. Yes, I do. I do have Argon's Quest. I have all 5 Lord of the Rings games, Birdie Love. So that's one set I ain't got to look forever again. Argon's Quest was hard to find. Oh, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Also, friends of Rick. I also love Retro Gato. Watch every episode too. I appreciate that immensely, man. So that was just the one game of the week I bought. That was just on a whim because I now really need to start looking through the list and going from A to Z. I'm trying very hard this year to not only get the 2,000 games, but get all the cheap games. Anything under £10 at CX, in other words. Because the shovelware is just as hard to find as some of the expensive stuff is. It really, really is. And it's getting to that point now where there's certain games which are only worth like £2, which somehow I haven't got yet, and it's starting to really annoy the hell out of me. No, honestly, you don't make me feel uncomfortable. It's I haven't gone live in a long time. I'm trying to answer these comments, but to be honest, as I said earlier, because the original episode, the audio was just the drizzling shits. Sorry for the language. I generally felt that if I do live now, at least you get an episode this week, because there was no way I was saving that episode for Sunday. The audio was that bad. It really was. Just hear a constant crackling in the background, which was pissing me off, and I was editing it. My God. Oh, good lord. But generally, yeah, the shovelware really is a pisser. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. The shovelware generally is a pisser, which reminds me, there's certain games. I think it's 4x4 Evo 2. It's only like a £2 game. Don't own it yet. I don't know how I can't find that in any like CX, but I think you can buy it online. But I don't want to pay £2.90 for delivery fee for a £2 game. That's just fucking insane. I can try using a external mic. I think I tried that once. I can't remember. I'm not tech savvy with iPhones. This is the basic iPhone. The next episode I'm actually recording 60 frames per second, so I'm going to be smooth and silky, and I'm hoping it's going to make a difference to the sound, because I've been read online that it does actually make a difference sometimes. So I'm going to try that before I really start going like nerd like intelligence on this because wow, that made no sense. Basically, I've got to try it this way, otherwise it's going to be a colossal pain in the ass editing in the future. And Dave has pointed out in the past that he's done basically had to work hard to get the static out, and he just couldn't do it sometimes. Anyway, so that's the past, that's the present. Future. So I've been giving it some great thought, and I've stated in the past, obviously, we're gonna basically get as close to it if complete this set. That's what I'm gonna try and achieve. But obviously, we're going to get to a point where I'm finding no games for week on week, and doing a YouTube channel where you're finding nothing on a goal to try and find everything, it's going to come across a bit tedious. So I am going to act a backup plan at the moment where this channel becomes incredibly stagnated. Smooth and silky, good lord. Yeah, sorry. My vernacular can be quite interesting sometimes. I've been told that by my co-workers also. But anyway, we're going back to say, so after some great thought, I have actually decided what the, well, I haven't decided yet. I'm now down to 2 consoles that I'm going to either collect for after I finish this. One is older than the PS2, one is a newer console than the PS2. So I have one of 3 options. One, collect the older console, which has a much smaller library, but probably a lot harder to find for. Option 2, collect for the newer console, where the library is about 2/3 the size of this, but should be relatively easy to find most of that, and financially both consoles are not as expensive as this. Or the dangerous option 3, where I collect for both, which combined would still only be 2/3 of this whole library. That's what I'm probably gonna do. Obviously, goes without saying, a lot of people naturally assume I'll be collecting for PS3 after PS2. Don't assume that. Truth be told, I've never actually owned a PS3. I've honestly, I skipped. I was an Xbox 360, and okay, I was an Xbox 360 person. Far better console than the PS3. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying what we all thought. Obviously, the Wii destroyed both of them because the Wii sold like gangbusters, but the PS3 was basically the worst of the 3 consoles. Obviously, it started off badly because of the incredibly high price tag for an original PS3. And the gaming library in the first 2 years was terrible. I'm so sorry if I'm hurting people's feelings. I am tempted to do PS3, but I haven't really given much thought to it. The library's not half as big as the PS2. I think it's just over 1,000, something like that, which sounds like a lot of games, but compared to like 2,300, that's nothing. I know, I'm so sorry, Birdie Love. I'm so sorry. It's like, but obviously if I do a brand new console, I've never £1,200 titles. That's about rough. That's about right. So half what the PS2 did. That's about right. But collecting for the PS3 would actually be kind of interesting because it's a brand new console to me. Never owned it before. Obviously, a lot of the games I played on the Xbox 360. 2,400 physical total, including Japanese games. That's quite a big library. Got a lot of PS3 fans in the chat. What a way to insult them. The older console, I'm not gonna name these consoles until I'm 100% sure, but the older console has a very small library compared to this. It's either a love or hate console, I've been told. Some people hate the motherfucker. Some people love it. It depends what your childhood was like. Yes, 360 is an amazing console to take yeah, Indians, pal. So I had to get all the Indian games. Sega? Oh, God. I honestly have given a thought to doing the Dreamcast. I will be honest. That is option 3 if I really want to go insane. And do you know the reason why? I had good games, but the main reason? The blue cases. The blue organisation against the wall looks immaculate. Look, the Wii U cases with the blue spine look amazing. Well, it's going to be somewhat obvious to give you the name of the cons. It's going to be somewhat obvious. Generally speaking, Where was it? The console I would really love to do is the Super Nintendo, but I haven't got the finances of a fucking oligarch to do the Super Nintendo. I haven't got like big time YouTube money to do the Super Nintendo. I literally wing it as I go. Yes, I am looking for the 4x4 Evo 2. It's a very common game at CEX, and yet I still can't find a physical copy of it, and I don't want to buy it for. I don't want to buy it online and pay more in delivery than the actual game's worth. Really don't want to do that. But genuinely, PS3 actually might be a good idea. I wish, Halucha. Oh, good lord. PS3 would be the logical choice, and to be honest, PS3 would make sense because I can still play PS2 games on a PS3. But if everyone's lined up from this channel, there's no logic at PS2 mini games. There's no logic here whatsoever. Nintendo would be called the collect for also, but which console? That's the hard question. Actually, no. The more I talk about the Dreamcast, the more I feel like the Dreamcast would be the best choice for second. Bearing in mind that PS2 crushed it, would be somewhat ironic I would collect for the Dreamcast after the PS2. Actually, you know what? I could do the whole generation. I could do all 4 consoles for this generation. That would be ridiculous. Literally, you own 4 the exact same game on 4 different consoles. That kind of stupidity. I'm tempted. There had to be a few games that were all on all 4 consoles at some point. There has to be. GameCube came out in 2002. So that was the last of the 4 consoles for the. Is PS2 the 6th generation or the 7th generation? I really forget that. Because obviously this generation, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast. Technically 4 consoles in this generation. Sith. Okay, it was the 6th generation. I always get that wrong. I'm actually kind of stunned by the way that the Wi-Fi is holding out. I moved it across and actually nothing's broken up so far. So I'm static about that one. To be honest, actually, that 6th generation collection, actually, the more I talk about it, the more I actually want to attempt it. But obviously there's one glaring console there that costs a shitload more than anything else. And it's the Nintendo one, hilariously. Finding GameCube games at CEX is just painful and expensive. Yeah, I can, Mysterious Lucha. So it's weird. 3 different regions for collection. The Japanese have their own region. I can't remember what it's called, but I believe it's Japanese, and I think it's a few small countries. PAL's the weirdest one. So PAL, for some reason, is all the European countries, and it goes east towards India and those countries. Somehow goes south from there to Australia and New Zealand. So Oceania, some of Asia, and nearly all of Europe is PAL. I have no idea how they come up with this bullshit, but they came up with this bullshit. I think it's all to do with the electrical output of countries, because America's one. I think in the old days were the Genesis. Their games used to be 60 frames per second, where in Great Britain ours were 50. So theirs were actually faster games than us. But I think it's because we're more energy saving wise, we care more, and the Americans just don't give a shit. But PAL's such a strange concoction of countries. Yeah, there you go, colonial nations. There you go. That makes logical sense. I don't really think about that, colonial nations. So, because there are quite a few Indian games I still need to find, and the Australian steelbooks are going to be a piss of the import too. Because I think they're the last 3 steelbooks I need for all the steelbooks. I've got every PS2 steelbook that is not Australian. There's 3 Australian exclusives. The amount of Australian steelbooks that no one else got is ridiculous. But a lot of it's V8 supercars, which is an Australian sport. I get that a lot. Anyway, I'm really getting off topic here. So, I will be choosing from Dreamcast, PS3, or N64. Fuck it, I was going to say it. That'll be one of the 3 consoles I will collect for next, unless I go full nutcase and collect the whole generation, the whole 6th generation, which would be insane, because GameCube and Xbox games are hard to find. I think Dreamcast easier to find than they are. That would be fun, and it would be a horrific waste of money for all 4 consoles for the same generation, but it could work. It could totally work. Anyway, back on topic. That's not going to happen for at least a good year or a half, because I still think I'm still going to be easily finding games well past 2000. It's just that they're going to be buying them mostly, like, it's going to be a lot of like buying them in rather than finding them in places, which I hate, but that's the way I've got to do things, which means relying on CX quite a lot. Many people ask me, why do you CX a lot? Well, it's very simple. This goal I've got, it's quite beneficial to have CEX with this goal because they have all the stuff I need. Honestly, there's still like a good 100 or 200, good 200 games from CEX I don't own yet, so that really helps. I'm not gonna do the PS1. For some reason, plus there's other YouTubers do PS1. I'm gonna stay away from that one. The cases for the PS1 annoy the piss out of me because they're so fragile. And I hate fragile cases. Xbox 360, I enjoyed it, but for some reason I don't really want to do that either. Oh, and obviously the main issue, disc rot. I have been reliably informed by many people that disc rot on the Xbox 360 is already starting to set in. Like the disc rot, because the way they made the discs, they made them like terribly. So Xbox 360 is very susceptible to disc rot, which, as you can imagine, for a person who collects this stuff, scares the piss out of me. And I don't want to do an Xbox 360 because you don't pick the console that's the most susceptible to disc rot. That's just asking for trouble, especially when you got a collection insured. Disc rot, they're not going to cover disc rot. Oh, good lord. Yeah, the PS3 discs. I'm sorry, KE. The PS3 discs were made better than the Xbox 360 discs. I don't know why Microsoft went cheap on that, but they did. They really did. As long as you stand your cases up vertically and have no kind of dampness in the room, you'll never get disc rot. Never play your games horizontally. Always vertically. That's all I can say about that. Anyway, I'm really getting sidetracked. Xbox did have good games. Yeah, Xbox 360 had amazing games, but if the discs don't work after 20 years because of disc rot, it's a bit of a pisser. It really is. Anyway, I'm gonna roughly. I don't know about the original Xbox. I know Xbox 360 suffers it badly, but I wish I knew how people knew that kind of stuff. It really, OG Xbox is bad too. Oh Christ! I was gonna stay away from that console. What's the point of buying all this stuff? It's gonna disc rot. Yeah, dehumidify would be a good call, okay, it really would. Anyway, so the episode was going to be a lot more elaborate, have jokes, be better, but the audio was just that bad. I thought I'd just go live now, give you do something this week, because otherwise you're going to not see me until like a week Sunday. I will say though, next week I have been to Great Yarmouth CEX again because there was one game I needed, and it's an incredibly hard game. It was the only game in CEX. How can I put this? It was a game so hard to find that it was the only game CEX had in stock. Like, it was a between £30 and £40 game. I've never seen a physical copy of it. It just popped up out of nowhere, and it was in my local CEX. The chances of that are astronomical. So as you can imagine, I literally just drove in that same day and bought that game, and it came with manual. So next week's episode of CEX in Great Yarmouth, I was ecstatic to get the game you will see. When there's only one copy of a game in the CEX and it's at your local, that's awesome. Fan collaboration game hunt. I never even thought of that. That could be a good idea. It really could. There's a lot of stuff I would like to do, but it's all about organisation, and with real life can get in the way sometimes, and real life comes first sometimes. I say sometimes, most of the time. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because we're going to need 25 minutes right now. So for anyone who actually watches this incredibly terrible diatribe that was his live episode, I'm sorry. I really tried to save the original episode, but it was impossible. The audio was that bad. You can, if you want to. If I do that, you can be the first. Anyway, I tried to save it, but I couldn't. So, long story short, I enjoyed the hell out of Retro Chef. I will splice in every every link to every YouTube channel that I mentioned or was a part of that. I will tag people in this. Got a puzzle game from Germany that you can't. That's not in the CX stock at all. And I've basically gone. I'm either going to go N64, Dreamcast, or PS3 for the next console after this. That's what I'm going to go. So now that's all out there. I'm going to head on and watch the Man United match. I'm a Newcastle supporter, but I watch every Man United match because they're just that bad at the moment. It's never boring watching them. It's good. It's good funny. You can laugh your ass off watching Man United at the moment because they're either amazing or that bad. Why I chose the PS2? Childhood console, and when I found out how many PS2 games there were, I thought, let's just go for it. Pretty much. And I'll be honest, my ignorance, I thought they can't be that expensive, PS2 games. Jesus, what an ignorant thing to think like 6 years ago. And we're going to wrap that up. Have a good evening, everyone who watches this. Sorry for the terrible live episode, but I'm doing what I can. I will hopefully see you next Sunday for Great Yarmouth CEX. Only one game picked up, but it's a game that's hard to find. I'm not going to elaborate what I do for a living. I'm not going to talk work in videos. It's just one of those things. Don't bring your real life stuff into the videos. All I can say is I enjoy my job, and it serves me very well. Thank you guys. Have a good evening. I'll see you later.